We are live on Real Fridays, a couple minutes late. How's it going, Rick?
I am doing well. I'm on Rust Belt time. Uh, I'm on Jeremy Potter's time frame. Although I'm not in Detroit. I'm just outside of Boston. Um, but no, I sincerely apologize for being a few minutes late. I was talking to a really innovative division leader for a competitor of NFM's out in the West Coast, out in the Pacific Northwest.
Cool.
And so we were just kind of comparing notes, talking about the market and what opportunities he could have with NFM versus staying where he is. And it's amazing. There's a lot of conversations, a lot of movement. This industry is so dynamic, and there's so much migration. And as groups move, um, it's very disruptive for companies. So it makes it harder to invest in technology um, or different types of solutions. So
No doubt. Yeah, from the NFM standpoint, what are you on? Is this your second week, third week?
yeah, 2 weeks. So I'm not new to the company in the sense that, like, I've known Greg for a long time, and I've
Of
known the
course.
leadership. Um, but I was really fortunate enough to join their leadership team 2 weeks ago and sort of make it official. And but yeah,
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I know we talked about it a little bit last week with Greg popping on and Clayton and others. But yeah, from the NFM standpoint, um, is it basically national? You guys are just picking your spots where you find the right people, or are there target markets? Like, what's the expansion strategy look like?
so fortunately, um, really fortunately, the company's been organically growing, really without a very precise strategy, if you will. Um, and so it's kind of just dealt with opportunities as opportunities came to the company. And so now with my addition, I'm head of all retail growth. So
Right.
I'm working closely with Greg to devise that strategy to grow with some intent and some purpose, right? Um, the I'm gonna turn off. I have Waze in my ear, and like Waze was talking to me while I was trying to talk to you.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I think the camera shut off when you left whatever app, but we
oh,
still
really?
hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's crazy.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no
Oh, I
worries.
can't. I can't minimize this, huh?
I guess not.
Oh, that's a bummer. Hold on.
StreamYard,
Let me
or
turn.
they're working out all the kinks on StreamYard. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm gonna do my alerts here. Okay. All right. I missed my exit, so I'm running.
Yeah,
But the no, so we're going to be growing with a very specific intent in mind in strategic markets. We'd love to get about 1 billion or so a year in Texas. There's no question that we could do another billion or so in the Pacific Northwest. Upper Midwest would be a really good market. There's a really good 50 million a month organization that I'm talking to that's in the Upper Midwest that would be a great ad for us. So it's really going after specific markets with a specific focus to say, like, look, we want to do 1 billion a year in Texas. So who are the key players who might be interested in making a move, or who are the independent companies that might be interested in sort of a capital partnership of sorts. So
cool.
so yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to things progressing. But the leadership team's amazing, and the company culture is really strong, and their ability to execute on loans. I mean, I did a post on this a few days ago about how all these companies talk about their culture, and they're a family company, and they have a great culture. The problem is if you don't do your core business correctly, like at an expert level, if the core purpose of your company suffers, but yet you have great culture, the dog, it doesn't make any sense. You're not serving anyone any benefit by having a great culture but a bad mortgage company. Um,
Yeah,
so
absolutely, absolutely.
you know, um, But no, I mean, I definitely, once I get cut in further, I'd love to have more conversations. I'd love to get your organization in talks with NFM, because I think that the company could really benefit from that, as I think all lenders probably can. So
Yeah, in the wake of kind of the, I guess, let's say the current macro environment, between rates starting to drop, more home buyers starting to reactivate searches that have been on hold, and maybe, and probably most importantly, with the NAR settlement and all the agent commission conversations, it's been a really it hasn't been universally positive for NewZip, I guess, but it's like there's a lot of things that are making lenders want to solve the problems that NewZip helps solve, right?
well, the more competitive environment, it seems like NewZip becomes increasingly more beneficial,
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
or more important to the strategy.
Yeah, exactly. And we're adjusting our product in a lot of ways that are more differentiated than the classic agent matching that's been around for a while. Obviously, it's a really key. We make sure that every deal can get matched, in all 50 states with an awesome agent that's raising their hands to work with our partners and going to protect our partners' business, the loan officer's business. But we're layering in so much, and we talked about it a little bit last week, I think. But we're layering in a lot more around market data, affordability data, overall nurturing campaigns. Kind of, like what Brian and the guys at FinLocker do for the mortgage side. We're kind of filling out the real estate side of that, like that long-term kind of nurture to get ready to buy and figure out how to buy.
It seems like that you guys could potentially help with some modifications, could help bolster the relationship between the IMB and the consumer, so that the consumer isn't quite as susceptible of being refinanced or being like driven through the servicer's workflow. Like, how do you disrupt that? Because to the point, if you're going to that app every month and you have auto withdraw or whatever, or you're manually pushing that your mortgage payment through that app, that's a hard thing to intercept. I mean, so how do you intercept that from a solution standpoint? Because your connection from the realtor, the consumer, and the loan officer is like well established. Now the question is, how do you really solidify that connection between the consumer and the loan officer?
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 steps earlier, right? Yeah, that's the question, and that's where most of our kind of product roadmap has been since, I would say, last December. We started rolling out all these lender partners. I joined last May. We started rolling out pretty quickly a bunch of lenders that wanted an agent matching partner. We have about 35 partners today, and 5 more or so being implemented. So around 40 lenders today. And pretty quickly, a big portion of those lenders started to say, okay, great, but just relying on loan officers to send you deals at the perfect moment is probably, it's a business, but it's like, can you do more for us? Sure.
Yeah.
What else do you want? Well, let's layer in some ways that they can save money. Okay, we built this cash rewards program, we call it, where the client gets a real estate credit in the 42 states that allow it, so they can save 50 basis points on the purchase price. $500,000 home purchase, they get a $2,500 credit at closing if they use NewZip versus any other agent. All commissions are the same, everything's the same.
It's amazing.
Just a straight up credit, and it helps protect the lender's business, of course. So so that was easy. But then it's gotten more and more. That was a pretty, not easy, but a straightforward solution. There's a lot of compliance work and things like that. But so now after those kind of early wins, partners have kept coming back to us. Lenders and loan officers have kept coming back to us and said, okay, we're losing people to Zillow. Do you guys have home search? Yeah, we can facilitate home search. We're a real estate brokerage. We have all that national data. We don't view it as a core part of our product historically, but we can give targeted listings. We can give affordability data and match that to listings, which we think is actually better than just whole home search for most people is to get super targeted listings you can actually afford into your inbox, right? And so then we did that, and then we filled out market data about how prices are changing, buyers versus sellers market, all these things. And then leveraging third-party data that we've talked about many times on here, a few different sources, but a lot of it's ingenious data. We have we can also show you what loan officers are working with the same agents as you. What agents are working? What other agents are working with these loan officers? What other loan officers are working with these agents? Both ways to help more in the retail world. So there's a lot of things that we're just kind of expanding around our core offering. We still monetize by being an agent matching real estate network for the most part, depending on what exactly you want. There's sometimes a small amount of platform fee if you want home search and everything else. But yeah, so that's kind of where we've been driven. And if I think about someone like NFM that has your influencer division, you have such rich lead funnels of clients that are maybe not quite ready to go, but are really looking for help. I think it dovetails in pretty well with all the mortgage experience, and then we just plug in the real estate experience. And where we do try to be really clear is like, we're doing this as a service for mortgage companies. Our company's 100% B2B. We're not going to consumers and trying to get them agents directly. We're doing it all on behalf of mortgage companies as a partner, which is different than every one of our competitors, or at least the vast majority of our competitors. And so we like to think of it as like as deeply integrated, playing as nice as possible with the mortgage industry as anyone's ever done in this model.
I guess the question is, how this all shapes out from the standpoint of where you had quoted a statistic yesterday that 70%, and I'd love to fact check it. Well, Mike did. That's right. That 70% of Mr. Cooper's clients, and I'm assuming that use the app, that pay their mortgage using the app, are recaptured or refinanced, all within that same sort of consumer experience.
Yeah,
that is striking. That is striking.
We might be fact checking on that.
That's kind of,
yeah, I've never seen a number like that before.
Yeah,
so that's, I don't know. I'm not saying Mike was, but it might be some really particular set. Yeah.
But it's like whatever the number is, it, like Greg Share said, it's a massive threat. I mean, it is a massive, massive threat to that referral relationship between the consumer and the realtor and the loan officer.
No doubt.
That's incredible. Now, granted, the realtor is not involved in the refinance side of it, but you can imagine.
There's like a race for consumer. I don't know, trust. Consumer access.
It's an arms race. It's an arms race for sure. I mean, was it you that said
everyone can get access? Everyone can get access to the client, right? The servicer has particular access to the client. They have a relationship with the client, but so does the past loan officer. So does the past agent. So does Zillow when they put out commercials and paid search and things like that. I don't know. So I think it's like you'd like to think it's the best experience wins, but assuming come right back, yeah. So you'd like to think it's like everyone has the consumer data, and whoever gives them the best experience kind of wins them, right? Wins them over. But it isn't always going to be that simple. And I do think, and we work with servicers. We work with Newrez. We work with companies like Cardinal Financial who do some servicing and recapture. So there are components. There are components of what we're doing right now, Rick, that in some cases are helping the servicers with retention, right? And so it's we kind of view ourselves as a tool that could be used by anyone that wants to build out their real estate experience. So we are actually in some cases helping servicers to build that client trust. But we do it but the majority of our partners are not servicers. The majority of our partners are originators that are marketing all their solutions to the leads they're buying, or to their database, or to their agent partners, or any number of other things. I've talked a bunch, including yesterday on the Mic'd Up show with you, about how we've done really well with credit unions. They have really close agent partnerships, and they really just want to give their members as many tools as possible. So we've done well there. So I don't know. I mean, it's like maybe at some point we'll have to kind of pick a camp of where we specialize. But thus far, Newzip's kind of just been playing Switzerland between however lenders want to integrate us in their ecosystem. we can do. So it's been interesting to see the different angles.
No, it is really interesting. Are you? I know you weren't able to attend the NBA New England conference that I just left. But what's your next conference? Going to be the Housing Wire conference in Dallas?
Yeah. So the Housing Wire, what's it called? IMB Summit. I'm going to for sure. I already bought my ticket. We'll definitely be out there. And then that same week, there is I think that conference is like a Tuesday, 1-day summit. I think that Sunday and Monday, I may be going to Acuma, the credit union mortgage conference in Vegas. So I think the tentative plan is to go to about half or 2/3 of Acuma, and then go to Housing Wire IMB that first week of October. And then other than that, I'll be going to MBA Annual for sure. And we're going to put together a dinner and some other things there. So I'll make sure to invite you and ask around if there's anyone else you want to bring that you think will be interested in hanging out with us. And then we'll do the Lending Tree Summit in November. They're a past partner of ours, and we won their innovation award last year. So we've enjoyed working through them and their kind of consumer direct focus. And other than that, we're kind of open-minded. I have a bunch of site visits for partners as well. Some new partners that we're launching. We have quite a few partners that are in this launch stage. So I'm going to end up being on the road a lot in October, I guess. Let's say October, November.
Yeah, no, that's good. We'll have to have you. We'll have to have you fly out to corporate in Maryland, or drive down. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You live in New York City, right? Brooklyn?
I live in I live in Manhattan now, but yeah, I've lived in New York the last couple of years. Brooklyn part of the time, Manhattan part of the time. Yeah, so Maryland's easy, DC's easy. Got a ton of partners around there, actually. So I'm due for a visit. So let's plan that.
No, I need to go to corporate myself, so it may not be a bad way to kind of just knock two birds with one stone.
Cool. Yeah.
And I know Greg would love to spend a little time with you as well.
Yeah.
Working with him is really interesting because he's a very, very, he's a very, very smart, very serious mortgage banker. He comes across, and kind of like
you cut at the key moment. He comes across what?
Well, he comes across as kind of a jovial or kind of a comedic type of guy.
Sure.
He's a very serious mortgage banker, and no, I mean, it'll be good to have you there and spend some time with him and spend some time with the leadership, and exactly where or how this could sort of fit in.
Yeah. How was the presence at New England this week?
I thought it was good.
Was there, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. Brian View was there. There was a gentleman from Loan Depot there. He was the CFO of Mortgage Master at one time. There's obviously CMG was there, and a number of. But what's interesting is it was really dominated by depositories. Ironically enough, I when I had my session today, I asked how many people here are mortgage lenders, and about 2/3 raised their hands, and of those 2/3 that raised their hand, I said, how many of you are depositories? And most of them, with the exception of maybe, I bet you. At least in the group that attended my session, which is a fairly sizable group, probably 10%, 15% were IMBs.
Cool.
And the rest were all banks.
I do find that super interesting. I noticed that I've been to NEMBC twice now. Ended up not being able to go this week.
You should connect with Leader Bank. You should connect with Leader Bank. They're a really innovative lender. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you work with them now or not, but you should.
No, that'd be interesting. We're talking to a handful of lenders that were out there, I
can help you.
Cohort continues to be interesting to me. Obviously, I'm from New England. I live in the Northeast still, so it's I like that segment. Yeah.
Hey, Norwegian Bank and Trust from Northern Maine might be interested in talking to you.
My uncle is the CEO of the bank in my hometown, so it's kind of embarrassing we haven't launched with them. But I think he knows the you know, it's the biggest town in northern Maine, but it's, you know, it's still not a big area. So I think he knows the couple of realtors he needs. But
I'm telling you, Jeremy and I need to come up. We need to fly up to Presque Isle, Maine, and we need to do a Real Fridays up there, and maybe just a weekend.
There's a direct flight from New York City. It's only about a 40-minute flight. It's about a 12-hour drive, but it's about a 40-minute flight. It's ridiculous how the difference is. But yeah, I've been able to spend some time up there recently. It's been nice.
I'm serious. We need to do that because I think we could spend a good work weekend over, you know, to get some work stuff done, maybe even some writing and some thinking through some things, and then
we can go out to our cabin on a lake where now that there's finally the satellite Wi-Fi that we can what's it called Starlink. I was amazed. A lake in the middle of nowhere in northern Maine. I can take video calls from all day and have a better connection than you do right now.
Dude, I love it. I know, right? So I have to jump. I actually have a call with the NBA. I have a call with the NBA right now, so I have to jump. But sorry, I'm a few minutes late to those who are watching this, and certainly we look forward to having Jeremy with us next Friday. He's at a wedding today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you sometime soon, buddy.
Yeah, we'll be out at all those events. Cool. Have a good one, Rick.
All right. Take care, man.
Yeah, have a good weekend. See ya.
Bye-bye.